Well, Astronauts4Hire is a nonprofit organization dedicated to developing the next generation of commercial astronauts. So we're 80 members strong at this point, expanding rapidly. We have people in 17 countries around the world and more than 40 PhDs in various fields of science and engineering. I'm very proud of the great diversity of talent and ideas that are constantly being infused in the organization. So what we're trying to do is prepare our flight members, who are the Astronauts4Hire within the organization, to be as prepared as possible for upcoming spaceflight opportunities. And we do this through training, we do this through professional development, and also through research. We have 19 people in what we call as flight members, and we have 61 people right now as associate members. That's where you get 80. But the associate members are members with more general interest in the organization. They can contribute to one way or the other. But it's the flight members who are the astronaut candidates. Of those 19 flight member candidates at this point, there are a few people who are nearly qualified through our own internal guidelines that we've developed. So far, it looks like we'll have 4 people qualified by the middle of 2012. So by that point, I'll be able to say we have 4 astronauts, or whatever the number might be.
So that'll be your first graduating class.
That's right. That's right. Because it takes years of preparation, education, and building up oneself to have the right skill set and the right character to be a good astronaut. So if you count all that, it takes decades, right? Which could include experience managing expeditions. It could include getting advanced degrees, working in various operational environments of relevance, being a pilot, for example. So those things really are selection factors that we look for before we would bring people in as flight members. So once you are a flight member and you're training with us, we have some various academic modules, courses, for example, we ask everyone to take or show equivalency to get up to the same level in areas like physiology, spacecraft systems, spaceflight environment, for example. But then the practical training elements, which are the really fun part, in getting in the centrifuge, for example, taking an altitude chamber ride, and doing other things like scuba, are things that if you compress it all together, you could probably do it in about a month, but most people would spread it out over several months. So everyone proceeds at their own pace through the program, and some people are more aggressive about it than others. Part of this too is that at this point most people are self-funding their way through the program too, and so it's not only a matter of time, it's a matter of money. So one of the benefits of being a member of Astronauts4Hire, regardless of what type of member you are, is you get training discounts with our training partner providers, such as Survival Systems USA, the NASTAR Center, the Ashton Grayville Spatial Orientation Laboratory, and a couple of others. But still, it is money that has to be paid. Someone has to come up with it. Some people have been quite creative in getting grants, in getting, for example, outreach-related tie-ins that help pay for it. Some people have paid out of their savings. So that is varied. So that is part of the reason why there's that spread from some people finishing before others. If we didn't throttle this at all, there would be hundreds of people right now. You would not believe the great interest there is in the organization. I mean, after all, it has a really catchy name. It sounds intriguing, so we get a lot of interest. People contacting us every week saying, I want to be an astronaut, tell me how I can do it. So, but on the other hand, if we just let the floodgates open and let everyone in, it would water down what we're trying to do, because we're trying to make the most competitive group of commercial astronauts that we can to meet the emerging needs of the commercial suborbital research community. So what our goal is right now, what we think the cap, if you will be on the flight members is about 25 probably in the foreseeable future, the next couple of years. So we may add a few more people. There will be some attrition, I'm sure. We're going to fluctuate a little bit, but we're trying to keep it in that 20 to 25 range roughly. And the reason why it's there rather than something smaller like 4 or 5 people is because we're trying to have as much diversity of fields represented as possible. You know, medicine, earth science, physics, astronomy, material science, what have you, so that if someone comes to us, and this is the 4Hire part of our name, if someone comes to us saying, I'd like you guys to fly my payload, get my experiment in space, you know, I trust that you are the top professionals in your field, we can pick a guy off the shelf. Oh, here you go. Here are his credentials. He has his great professional background in your field. You can act as peers together. And we hope that we would engage with researchers at the earliest stages of the process in that scenario, at the proposal writing phase, for example. In fact, that's what we've just done with our partner VitalSpace. We announced this just last week, where this startup company VitalSpace, who's developing this very innovative biomedical monitoring system for spaceflight participants, as well as for clinical reasons here on Earth. They've asked us to test it for them, to be the test subjects. But in this case, we were with them from day one. And we wrote the proposal together. We submitted to the NASA Flight Opportunities Program and got it funded as co-investigators. So that's how we'd like to see the model carried to the future with suborbital and eventually beyond.